I'm always take it to the 30-second mark.
Oh, what you gonna do? You wanna get down? Tell me. Oh, what you gonna do? Do you wanna get down? Oh, what you gonna do? You wanna get down? Oh, what you gonna do? You wanna get down? Tell me. Get down on it. Get down on it. Get down on it. Get down on it. Come on, then. Get down on it. Get down on it. Get down on it.
Okay. Hey there, ladies and gentlemen. Guess who's back at it again? It's your boy Marlon Jackson, along with my sidekick, my partner in crime, Mr. Hughes. And today we're going to go back and backtrack a little bit. We're going to go back to one of our previous shows. We're going to be discussing the black quarterback topic again for about a good little second, just to give you guys a refresher and a reminder and hit you on some new points and stuff that we left out on that previous show. So with that being said, tune in for today's show. We got a couple of good topics for you today that you might be interested in. So let's get it started. Mr. Hughes, if you want to go ahead and pick up off of the show we left off with and you know, give them a little bit more of the black quarterback one. I know you were hitting on it hard, and I can just, you know, finish up what you left off at and then just go from there.
Thank you, Marlon. Again, it's always a pleasure and an honor. Yeah, definitely going back to the black quarterback, any double standards that may exist. It's a topic that is just very meaty, and we could probably run a special on it, a documentary, series, like we've seen on television. But I just want to touch back on the fact that I was having a discussion today with a gentleman, and the one thing that came up, we talked about Dwayne Haskins, our quarterback, Ohio State Redskins. Redskins released him. Now he's with Pittsburgh, and I realized that Dwayne Haskins, he made his mistakes, that I think probably most rookies probably make. But if we just backtrack, he came in, he got drafted by the Redskins. Reports say that Daniel Snyder handpicked him because he went to the same high school as Daniel Snyder's son. Jay Gruden and his staff did not. It's been reported, and I guess it's true, they did not, under no means, want to draft Dwayne Haskins in the first round. They consider him more of a late second round or third round pick. But he was still drafted, by Daniel Snyder. All right, he comes in. He doesn't get to start to his 10th game, maybe 11, which is okay. That's fine. I personally think all QBs need to sit and watch for a little while. He comes in, Marlon, he plays like a rookie, right? Makes mistakes. But each game, it seemed like during his rookie year, he got better. He began to get better. And I think he even got a win at some point. The famous, I'm going to run to the stands and take a selfie. Wasn't around to take the last knee. And that was the first point where everybody just lost their mind. Oh, my God. He's going to take a selfie. And he should be on the center taking the victory snap. I'm like, okay, man is 21 years old. I did a lot of silly things at the age of 21. I did silly things at the age of 31, Marlon. Probably even 41. But my whole point is, that was the start of the lynching. I hate to call it a lynching. But that was the start of, we're going to grade him hard. We're going to fine-tooth comb him. Everything that he does, we're going to be on him. All right? Coaching change comes at the end of the season. They bring in Ron Rivera, the great Ron Rivera, who's never won a Super Bowl. He's been to a Super Bowl. He's never won. He comes in, he gets rid of Haskins, offensive coordinator. I can't even call his name right now. Haskins had developed rapport with this guy. He was getting better under him. Soon as they got rid of, I think his name was O'Connell. As soon as they got rid of him, Marlon, I already knew that was the beginning of the end for Haskins. You bring in Scott Turner. Of course, Scott Turner comes in with this offense. And the thing about that particular organization is they don't take their quarterbacks and use them to their strengths. They take their quarterbacks and say, you must play this way. Same thing Jake Gruden did with RG3. I know people will say, well, RG3 demanded to play a different style. Well, he demanded a different style with the Shanahans. Shanahan's got fired. Jake Gruden came in. He runs nothing for RG3. Hence, you get a job to Kirk Cousins because Kirk Cousins runs his offense better. However, RG3 is still the better athlete. But we're not going to go to RG3 situation. We're going to come back to Haskins. Haskins, he starts, right? Second season. He actually is down 17-0 against Philly and comes back and wins the game, right? Against the great Carson Wentz. Nobody really thinks that's great, Marlon. Philly's probably favored to win the NFC East when the season starts. Nobody talks about that. He lost 3 out of 4 games, his first 4 games. His last game, he goes against the Ravens. Ravens have one of the top defenses in the league. He puts up good numbers. They still lose. He's bragging about his numbers in the locker room, which he probably shouldn't have been doing. But again, Marlon, he's 22 years old. They kill him. He shouldn't have been bragging. They bench him. Rivera says, we might can win the East. The NFC East is horrible. We're going to bench him. We're going to put the guy in that knows the system that we bought with us from Carolina. You never wanted him. You knew at some point you was going to bench him. And then you bring your guy in against the easy teams, the Giants. All these teams that were coming up with easy teams. You take Haskins, you play him against the harder teams. You bench him, and let me tell you what they did when they benched him, Marlon. They just didn't put him the second string. They put him the third string where he doesn't even dress. He's in street clothes. So you took your starter, your first round pick, benched him and put him in street clothes? That's what we do? Now, I hate to sound like this. Would they have done a white quarterback like that? A first round pick out of Ohio State? What you think, Marlon?
I don't think they would have. I mean, like I said, they already think of and have an image of us anyway when it comes to anything, if it's sports or anything outside of sports. I don't think they would have done that. But I think the biggest thing now is when it comes to drafting black quarterbacks, I think Dwayne Haskins put a bad, I guess you can say, image on future black quarterbacks trying to get drafted into the NFL only because of the stuff that he was doing. They don't want that to be an image on their team, especially if it's an organization that is a face of a franchise or a face of a state. You know, they want to make sure that they keep everything that they're doing, you know, in a structural path. So then that way, that, you know, they'll still get ticket sales, jersey sales, you know, endorsements, funding for buildings. So I just think, you know, when it comes to blacks and whites, man, the white boy, you know, he got to fed with the silver spoon, while us, we're getting a plastic fork at the end of the deal. You know what I'm saying? That's how I look at it, because it's just like anything we do, you know, they're going to nitpick it and define it. You know, it could be the smallest thing.
Fine tooth comb, right?
Yeah.
But let me talk about your Josh Allen for Buffalo. He's trash for 2 years. He finally gets good. And I'm not knocking him, but you give Josh Allen, this is just one of them. You give him 2 years to be horrible. You give him 2 years to figure it out. He has his coaches, no coaching change. He finally gets better and better and better. Now he's considered one of the best QBs in the league. Now, I'm not saying that would have happened to Dwayne Haskins. I'm not saying that. But he doesn't get that chance to consistently play, to consistently know I'm going to be a starter. I don't have to look over my shoulder. Nobody's coming for my job. That's how you get better. You don't get better when you getting snatched out because of whatever. You give a young man a chance to grow and be consistent for at least 2 years. All right. So that's kind of my next point. And then moving on, you bring him back when Alex Smith gets hurt and the other quarterback got hurt. Now you want him, he ain't played in 4-5 games. You want him to come back, and now he's cold. He's done everything y'all asked him to do, reports say, but you bring him back and you expect him to play like a superstar. Still 22 years old, maybe 23 at this point. He loses, I forgot the game he lost. He goes somewhere that night and he's with his girlfriend and he doesn't have a mask on. So you reprimand him. You get on his case, but you don't bench him. You know why you don't bench him? Because you think he gives y'all the best chance to win because Alex Smith is hurt. But you run the national news story on him because he didn't have his mask on. Marlon, how many people in America don't wear masks?
Oh my goodness. About 2/3 of American people don't wear masks, man.
And here's the thing. This is the thing that really gets me, Marlon. It's African Americans out here that's killing this kid. Oh, but he's supposed to be worrying about the playoffs. Why he partying? So what? I mean, yeah, I would agree that he should be home studying, but he's a grown man. He can do whatever he want to do in his off hours. And y'all talking about he didn't have his mask on. Half y'all don't wear masks. Don't care nothing about masks. Governor opened up the state, y'all running back out there. Like it's not COVID. Don't care about the science. But we killing Haskins because he was somewhere without a mask on? Are you serious? I know it's important to have it on. I wear mine all the time. But don't come for him when y'all don't even wear y'all masks halfway. Put him back in. You play him because you need him. He loses. You bench him. You knew you was going to bench him anyway, but you kept him around to use him because you needed him because of injury. Then he plays. He doesn't play good the next week. I admit he doesn't. You bring Taylor Heineke in, and he's so much of a superstar. And you send Haskins on his way. You don't even let him stay to the end of the season. You just cut him. You know what that is? That's them trying to break his spirit, Marlon. And I'm gonna be honest with you. You don't do your white counterpart quarterbacks like that. You bench him, you make him third string, he doesn't dress. Then you cut him before the season's over because he lost, because he didn't play well for you when you brought him back after 6 or 7 games. And I just feel like, to be honest with you, you're not going to do a white quarterback like that. A first-round pick guy out of Ohio State. That's never going to happen. That same situation is not going to happen with a white quarterback. And that's part of the double standard. But what bothers me the most, Marlon, more than anything, is African Americans. It's us that was killing Haskins. He's trash. Get him out of the league. Blah, 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 blah. You should be supporting him. I'm not saying he didn't make mistakes. I'm not saying he doesn't need to mature. But you will come to the support of Kirk Cousins and them who left you, didn't want to be with the Washington football team. He up in Minnesota ain't got them nowhere close to the Super Bowl. But everybody's fine with him. So that's the double standard. Kirk Cousins was throwing an interception after every touchdown he threw his first couple years with the Washington football team. But he's okay. We protect him. We wait for him to get better. Let him throw interceptions. Because he's eventually gonna get better.
I mean,
They don't do that. They don't do that with the black quarterback, and they don't even do that with the black coaches.
I mean, even if you go further back, Hughes, to when Donovan McNabb came there and played quarterback with the Redskins, and they had a backup, Rex Grossman, and I forgot their third string guy, but they were making McNabb seem like, you know what I'm saying, he was stinking up the place, and his own people was doubting him. And then they started Rex Grossman because they believed Rex Grossman was supposed to be the, you know, future of the Washington Redskins. And it just shows that it's just like you guys hold us to a higher standard because of now that you gave us, you know, equal opportunity to play that position. Now you want to give us more restrictions and more responsibility on, you know, playing the game that we know how to play than you would somebody who's spoon fed and, you know, somebody that's your golden boy. You know what I'm saying? That's how I look at it, because I didn't watch McNabb a lot when I was, you know, watching the Redskins, but when I, you know, seen certain games, it was just like, you know, McNabb came from what, Philly, and before Philly, I forgot what team he was, but I'm just like, you know, you expected him, you know, to be the Super Bowl winning quarterback, you know, in an offensive scheme fit that he wasn't, you know, ready for. And then you bench him after the third game because, you know, he threw 4 interceptions in the game with no help from his receivers. And I don't know, I forgot who the coaching staff was when he was on the team, but then you start Rex Grossman and they go 8-8 for the season. And it's just like, you know, then you want to play McNabb, you know, in the wild card game and then, you know, put all the blame on him for losing. Talking about McNabb's washed up, he's trash. And it just shows that our own people don't even back us up when we play good or bad. They're the ones who just talk down on us in general, man. It's just like, how can we support each other if we're putting each other down so much, man? You know, how can we stick together and show them that?
You know what it is? A lot of them have been brainwashed by the media. A lot of us are brainwashed by the media. Listen to how the commentators call the games. Listen to how they report on the white quarterback versus the black quarterback. The white quarterback, oh, he reads defenses so well. You know, he threw that ball into a window. You ever hear a commentator? Have you ever heard a commentator report on a black quarterback, you know, as they're commentating the game? Have you ever heard them all say, oh, he read the defense beautifully? You ever hear them say that about Warren Moon?
I've never heard him. I mean,
Doug Williams,
as long as I've been alive, I haven't heard them say anything.
Cordell Stewart, Randall Cunningham. You never hear them, and I don't even think they understand. They know they're doing that. I mean, you'll say they're mobile, they're a running quarterback, athletic.
Or they'll say, oh,
they don't talk about their intellect.
He has a strong arm, or he's a strong arm quarterback.
Yeah. That's what they say about Haskins. He has an NFL arm. That's all they say. He has an NFL arm. He can't think. The white quarterback can think. But the black quarterback is just strong arm, you know, strong, physical, running. And you don't see that. You ever really thought about that as you listen to them commentate?
Nah, now that you said it, I haven't really paid attention. I need to start actually, you know, paying a little bit more attention to what they say, because I always get the highlights of what they say, but I never actually get the full, you know, blow by blow of what they're saying and how they're saying it. So
Now they would be quick to say that a black quarterback can't read defenses, and African American fans will be quick to say a black quarterback can't read defenses. Do y'all understand? Y'all really making us sound ignorant? How they can't read defenses? They've been playing quarterback since they were 7, 8 years old, but all of a sudden they get to the NFL and they don't know how to read a defense. You might as well say they don't even know how to read a book. But we're gonna go to a commercial break, Marlon, and move on to the next topic.
I'm with you. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna jump into our second topic, and this one here, I'm gonna let Hughes piggyback off of this one because this one here actually is a good one, and I remember what the topic was now. This topic was, can professors and teachers be a big influence on an athlete going professional? I think, and I'm gonna say a little bit, and then I'm gonna let Hughes take it. I think if you have the right teacher and the right mentor, I think the kid will fully stay in school and finish all 4 years before he decides to go professional. That's my opinion on it, because a lot of times I've had mentors that helped me, think of different ways of looking at things besides just taking the money. So I think, that with the right person in your ear and the right person guiding you and letting you know about the things that you should and shouldn't do, I think, they can have a second mindset. Not saying they can't still play sports, but they can at least have something to, fall back on with it. What do you think about that, Mr. Hughes? Do you think, if you had a student and you could, mold that student into, thinking of other options besides going straight professional out of the first year of college, you think, they would stay and do it, just by, how you deal with them and how you react with them?
Well, that's a good question. Let's just keep it 100. If a kid is a football player, basketball player more so, and it's guaranteed that they're going to be a first round pick in the top 5, 10, do you tell them to stay in school, Marlon?
I would, only because it's just like a lot of first round picks, they turn out to be bust. And we've seen that happen before a lot. They say you're gonna go in the first round, but
they can always go back to college.
Yeah, but how many have you seen go back to college when they get drafted? I haven't seen too many go back to college.
Well, I think you got to go get that guaranteed money, because if you get injured or anything like that, let's say you stay 4 years, right? And I'm all about education. Mm-hmm. I think people should get their college degrees. I have 2 degrees. Mm-hmm. But if you have a chance of going to the NBA and you're going to be a top 5, 7, maybe even 8 pick, I'm going to say, young man, don't be crazy. Look, virtual learning is the thing now. You can go get your degree part-time online. Go get that guaranteed $20 million and invest your money. So, but if you are less than a first round pick, mm-hmm. then I'm saying, stay in school. Play it out, push your stock up higher by continuing to play all 4 years. But I answer your original question, I think everybody needs a mentor/teacher that's going to help them, guide them, and make the best decisions that they can make, because young people, they just make mistakes. Yeah. It's not necessarily bad mistakes all the time or fatal ones, but I was telling somebody the other day, man, I wish I had a mentor. I wish I had a Mr. Hughes to help me make some crucial decisions, or someone that I could just talk to, because maybe I feel like I didn't want to bring this subject to my parents. So to answer your question, it's a benefit, man, to any athlete that has an ongoing mentor/teacher in their lives as they progress into adulthood.
Yeah, in both aspects, I'm with you 100% in both ways. I just feel like as long as they see the good and bad of both sides of the situation, that it's good to go and get that guarantee money, and it's also good to get a degree because if something happens during your career or during that process, you have something to fall back on. I don't want you to think that basketball, football, baseball, whatever, boxing, whatever you do, if you get injured in that line, you want to have something to fall back on. And if you have a mentor that can tell you, certain things that they've done that, help them get along the way, while they were doing sports, and they can tell you a different path to doing it, I said, hey, go for it. You know what I'm saying? Because we get blinded by the money so much that, like you said in the previous shows before, when people see them hundred thousands of dollars and with a millions of dollars, man, they don't care about anything else. They just want them zeros. And if you don't know the stipulations that come with them zeros, then, you just going to sign yourself up for something without having, a guarantee that, you're going to be covered in the long run. And I just think with a mentor and a good guidance person, I think that you can be, the best athlete you can be, on and off the field. That's how I look at it. Because they can tell you all money ain't good money. That's what a wise man told me. So that's how I look at situations in life when it comes to making deals or just contracts or anything. Don't always look at the money. Look at you as a person and decide, is this the best route and the best thing for you to do? And ask the person that's been down that road, is this the best thing for me to do? Or should I do it the right way or a different way and then still get the same results?
Oh yeah, I mean, and even as they go into the pro level, if they make it, most of them don't. I'm gonna go back to Haskins. Who is his mentor? Are you out there? And I know people are telling them to do the right thing, but some of these young cats might need that mentor literally living with them their first couple of years in professional basketball, because they can't handle this money and they can't handle the fame. Some of them, and everybody's coming at them. The women, people may be showing them drugs. And that's another reason why you should have you a lifelong mentor. And sometimes mentors got to be hands-on with you. Tell those young guys things that they really don't want to hear. I'm mad at the person. I don't want to, even the Haskins situation when he went to wherever he went to the party. I'm upset with him, but I'm also upset with the person that let them take pictures. Who's in your clique? Who's in your crew that's protecting you from that craziness? So, I don't know. But what I do know is you're on point, and I really trust it. I have a mentor at my age that I have 2 or 3 of them. And I'm 50 years old. So, yes, to answer your question, athletes definitely need mentors. Good ones, truthful ones, genuine ones. It's not going to be the yes boys or they do boys.
Well, yeah, that's the closing parts of our show. I think what Mr. Hughes said was right on the money. And you guys who are professional athletes out there, and men and women in general, just let us know what you think of this show in particular. Because this show here, everybody needs a mentor in life in any aspect. It doesn't matter if it's sports or working or jobs or anything. I think everybody needs a mentor. So with that being said, we want you guys to look out for the show, subscribe, watch, continue to, support us in everything we do and keep it pushing. I just feel like at the end of the day, everybody, needs a little white light or angel, on their show to give them the directions they need to go and do what they got to. So with that being said, that's the end of our show. We hope you guys continue to, just rock out with us in the near future and, continue to be a part of this great success that, we're trying to get started.
Thank you, Marlon.
You're welcome, man.